This is such an important day for us. Meaningful change means empowerment, not just aid. We focus on finding and supporting leaders who have proven their capacity for igniting meaningful change in devastated communities.
These guys go and reignite in the human soul their incredible capacity for power and change. That's what they do. For me and Bhavna, they have ignited in us that same feeling. So then we support them. And the same thing, hopefully tonight, you guys get ignited by us.
Systemic problems, well, they need systemic solutions. I, my co-director, several music teachers, every Thursday and Sunday, rain or shine, would go into a jail and teach some of the most amazing young people that we've ever met. 8 years later, we're proud to say that we've worked to build over 45 musical spaces throughout the city.
Begging is dangerous, and I'm going to tell you the story about one of our girls. Nadia, at the age of 10, was begging on the main road from the international airport. And she was picked up by a gang who sold her to a tourist. She was locked in a bathroom of a hotel for 3 days and abused. We run a safe house, food, medical aid center, counseling and education for mothers and children who've been begging on the streets of Bali.
So in the United States in 2022, 64% of fourth graders were not reading at a proficient level. 67% of fourth graders were not proficient in math. Our work is to accelerate the learning of principals and teachers so that they can accelerate the learning of students. We actually don't need to continue to accept a system that doesn't work for all of our kids.
South Sudan is in East Africa. It's the world's youngest country. We became independent in 2011. So growing up in South Sudan during the period of civil war, we actually didn't have access to schools. 10% of people that are supposed to go to high schools are actually in high school. By contrast, in the US, the general gross enrollment ratio for secondary school is more than 99%. Our goal is to build a network of 10 schools in South Sudan that will educate about 500 peacemakers and transformational leaders every year.
We empower women in rural communities of Uganda through teaching them how to save and equipping them with business skills so that they are able to start businesses, generate incomes, and be able to take care of their families, but most importantly, educate their children. We've worked with 3,000 families in rural Uganda and supported women to start 1,500 businesses.
How do you bring hope to those who feel hopeless? To those who've been deliberately and systematically stripped of their hope? Now, the daily reality for Tea Estate children is that in any class, in any school, 16 out of 20 are experiencing alcoholism and violence in their homes on a daily basis. We give them toolkits for emotional resilience, and we teach them how to become ethical leaders. We've seen a 90% reduction in suicide rates amongst our young people. Now, 13 years on, we've helped over 2,500 young people who in turn have supported 30,000 children and 400,000 community members.
I'm a co-founder and the executive director of the African Education Program. In a place where 20% of girls will become pregnant before the age of 18, less than 2% of ours do, thanks to our reproductive health program. In a place where mothers earn $1 a day to survive, we've seen them increase their income by 264% through our entrepreneurship training. In a place where less than half of children with a disability will never go to school, we have 21 kids that are just flourishing, thanks to our individual plans for them. Our flagship Learning and Leadership Center in Kafue, Zambia serves over 750 children and women through inclusive learning, entrepreneurship, health, and leadership development programs.
Only 10% of all Philadelphia high school students go on to earn a college degree. And our mission is to partner with high schools and underserved communities to build cultures that empower every student to pursue education and opportunities beyond 12th grade. by building relationships, committed relationships with our students so we understand their strengths, their challenges, their passions, to meet them face to face. See, we're not trying to just work to raise the ceiling for a select few, we're trying to raise the floor for everyone.
Inspired by children, a peaceful revolution started in Syria in 2011. The brutal repression by the regime alongside Iran and Russia was insane. Bare chests met with bullets, 14 million people displaced, over half the population, 1 million people killed, chemical weapons used over 300 times. On April 2011, a month into the revolution, we had started the Syrian Emergency Task Force, and we started working to do all we can to help support these people who dreamt of liberty, democracy, dignity, freedom, the things that we have here and frankly too often take for granted. We also started working on our legal action, which includes the documentation of war crimes. We have documented tons of genocidal massacres and horrible war crimes, but not just that, pursuing prosecutions against those war criminals. We want to end the war in Syria. It's not over. And we want to do it not just because it's the right thing to do, it affects us here and it affects the world order that we have. And we do this work not just for Syria. This work is also for Ukraine, who we work with. It's also for every country where a tyrant or an authoritarian can think that they can quell a peaceful uprising by killing, torture, displacement, chemical weapons. And if they wait it out long enough, if they kill enough people, they can just be brought back into the world. That is not the world that we should be living in.